Yes, good day, my people. I remain Felix Elijah Nana, your legal practitioner. Recall we have started by way of introduction the discussion of the case of Timileyin Ajayi and the alleged murder of his girlfriend. Today, I want to proceed further by stating the most likely offense he will be charged with, looking at the jurisdiction where which the offense was committed. The offense of culpable homicide is what is akin to the offense of murder, as it's called in the southern part of Nigeria, but in the northern part of Nigeria, it's called the offense of culpable homicide. And the offense is contained in section 221 of the Penal Code law. And there are three elements or ingredients that the prosecution will need to prove to succeed in this offense. One, the prosecution should be able to establish the fact that somebody died. Then two, it should be able also to establish the fact that the death of that person was caused by the suspect or the defendant. In other words, the death must be linked to the suspect. Then finally, three, he must also establish that the suspect intended to cause probable or likely consequence of the death of that person. In other words, this is intention. Now, note quickly that the offense of culpable homicide, as contained in the Penal Code law, is divided into two. We have the offense of culpable homicide punishable with death, and the offense of culpable homicide not punishable with death, in other words, punishable with life imprisonment. The offense of culpable homicide not punishable with death is contained in section 222 of the Penal Code law. Now, the only difference between the offense of culpable homicide punishable with death and the offense of culpable homicide not punishable with death is that the third ingredient in which is stated that the person would have done with the intention of causing probable or likely consequence of the death of that person is that this one, in that not punishable with death, is that it was done accidentally or without the intention of causing the death of that person. Take, for instance, that there was fighting, and the accused or defendant killed the person in the process of the fighting. That will not be an offense of culpable homicide punishable with death, but it will be an offense of culpable homicide not punishable with death. In other words, the punishment that will be meted to that person is going to be life imprisonment instead of death penalty. It is akin to what we call in the South the offense of manslaughter. Remember, culpable homicide in the South, in the North is called in the South murder. Then the offense of culpable homicide not punishable with death, it is called in the South manslaughter. So in the extant case of Timileyin Ajayi, most likely he will be charged for offense of culpable homicide punishable with death. That's under section 221 of the Penal Code. Now, for the offense of culpable homicide punishable with death, you may see the case of Dada against State reported in 2019, 3 Nigerian Weekly Law Report, part 1659 at page 305, particularly at pages 318 to 119 at paragraphs E to A. Then for the offense of culpable homicide not punishable with death, you can see the case of Sally against State, Sally against State, reported in 2019, 8 Nigerian Weekly Law Report at part 1675 at page 416, particularly at page 428, paragraphs F to H. So these are the likely, most particularly the offense of culpable homicide punishable with death that Timileyin might be charged with. So all what he will have to do through his lawyer is to insist and see the prosecution prove the elements of this offense. It's based on this that the state would have succeeded against him to establishing the ingredient of this offense. And remember, He must not just only be seen to have been nailed, but he must have been seen to be nailed in tandem or in accordance with the due process of law. Thank you very much. I remain Felix Elijah Nana, your legal practitioner. And always do remember to consult your lawyers specifically for legal counseling or pieces of advice that will be best suited to the circumstances of your case. If you do rely on anything I'm saying here to add or take any action or indecision, you'll be solely responsible for your action or indecision. Thank you very much. I remain Felix Elijah Nana, your legal practitioner.